All sorts of things in the world, and you lot having a barney about Big Ben. What's going on, Sir David?
Well, I think the Palace of Westminster is one of the most iconic buildings in the world.
True.
And there's going to be a public outcry if we're forced to decant that. But when we had the general election and returned and we found that it was a building site, and suddenly we're going past this scaffolding which leads up to Big Ben, it's come as a total shock.
Well, can I just put that to you, Hugh? And again, it might sound a little bit cynical. So, David, you were quoted as saying, well, we're on this committee and we decide things like this, and we had a committee meeting and somebody suggested we'd make Big Ben a bit better. He said, and then we sort of had a big holiday and then there was a general election and we came back. We haven't had another meeting and now it's being done. So that must fill the great British public with real confidence that MPs know what they're doing.
Not quite like that. A few years ago, we went to the top of Big Ben, our committee, there's 9 of us, to see what a bad state it was inside, water pouring in. So we all agreed something had to be done or otherwise the clock would stop. But at no stage did we have a presentation saying that on today, at 12 noon, it's going to be silent for 4 years.
But, you know, whenever you have work done at home, anyone who's had an extension bill or anything like that, it's an absolute nightmare. There's times when you haven't got any water, there's times when there's mess everywhere. You know, I know it's very inconvenient to you guys not having your beloved bongs, but does anyone else really care?
Oh, people up and down the country think that the sound of Big Ben is British. It's part of our DNA, frankly. And I've been telling constituents who write in asking for tours, do you realise it's going to be closed for 4 years, which is a long time in itself. But to have the bell silence for 4 years, I mean, the First World War, it was 2 years. I don't understand why in 2017 it's going to take 4 years to do the work.
Well,
and
Hugh, you've caused a problem here, haven't you? You and your bong silencing. Why have you done this?
Well, we haven't done it. All we're saying is there's not really a story here. The parliamentary authorities are taking a sensible approach to protecting people's hearing.
You do support them going silent, though, don't you?
No, what we support is it being silent if people are actually working up there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it could be a really good opportunity for the MPs to take time out and think, you know, we could use this to promote the real dangers of noise-induced hearing loss. We want the people up there to be able to listen to Big Ben after the restoration work's been done, when they're sitting at home with their grandchildren. It's something that creeps on you, and it's something that's irreversible. And it affects about 20,000 new people every year.
Why is it taking 4 years, Hugh?
Well, I mean, they're actually dismantling the clock. And, you know, the idea that all these tourists are going to be going and being really disappointing because there's going to be no bongs, in actual fact, it's going to be covered with scaffolding for this period, and I think they're going to be more disappointed for not being able to take selfies with it. It doesn't affect 99% of the population.
Well, I'll tell you what, in 10 seconds, we're going to be able to hear the bong at 7:30 a.m. because there won't be many more for 4 years.
Should we enjoy it while it's there? Here we go.
Now,
I just say one thing?
Absolutely.
In this
You're holding my hand
age
again.
of, I'm holding it, I'm stroking you. I've missed you. In this age of modern technology, surely it may be possible to do a little recording of it and to play that out for atmosphere, not from the tower, but away from those.
Because some people are saying tourism.
Such a state about it?
Kate, some people are saying tourism's going to go down the drain. Nobody's going to come to London at all if Big Ben's not bombing.
Can't we be sensible and record it and play it out so the Tories get to hear it, you guys get to hear it?
I can see Big Ben from my office. I'm very fortunate. I overlook Westminster Square and Big Ben, and it is a huge attraction for the tourists. So, Hugh, I know you're right, they're going to be disappointed about the scaffolding, but believe me, they're going to be disappointed by not hearing the sound.
So why can't you just organise a recording? We could send some of our guys down, they could do it for you.
But why didn't your committee have this discussion?
Because the general election was called, and the rules are we haven't been reformed yet. But I can assure you, when we return in 2 weeks' time...
But Sir David, I'm not being cynical, but if you were waking up this morning with the disaster that we read about and hear about every single day, with a Prime Minister who seemingly doesn't have much support, and I'm not getting political, and you hear that your committee, nothing against you, was disbanded because of a general election you haven't met, and one of the most iconic features in London is about to undergo work, it does beg the question to everybody watching, what else has been missed?
Well, all committees are disbanded when a general election takes place, and then you reform, people have to be voted for. So we're trying to do it as quickly as we possibly can. And the British people, of course, decided that there shouldn't be a majority government. So there's a few issues there. But all that is said, we've got a chief executive of the House of Commons, and that's the person I've directed my letter to, because in the interim, I don't understand. We leave the building for 2 months and we come back to a building site. How this happened, and in this day and age, I think, honestly, Hugh, it would be, I don't want any of your workers damaged by the sound of the bells, but it must be possible to have some sort of electric device in there instead.
There is an electric device. They'll be keeping the clock actually one face going all the time.
We've got some good sound crew here. We could get them down before midday to record it. I'm sure. Any volunteers?
Couldn't you get
uninspiring faces that was?
Let's volunteer to save Big Ben's bombs. We should save it. Let's go down and record it and play it out.
Thank you, gentlemen. Got to go.